to the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayanna. When can you listen to the Sister Speak Show? At 7 p.m. Central. Tune in on the go or at your residence show. Spreaker, YouTube, Alexa, or SoundCloud. Interviewing special guests that have been blessed and will bless us. Through spoken word and awareness, knowledge is wealth. If you gain it, share this. In the streets, in the burbs, anywhere that we can be heard. It's about that time to elevate your mind. Feel the beat, Sister Speak. Come and eat a spiritual treat. It's about that time to stimulate your mind. Feel the beat, Sister Speak. Come and eat a spiritual treat.
Welcome, my brothers and my sisters, to coming to the stage on the Sister Speak Show. I am the host, creator, and producer of the Sister Speak Show. Ayanna, Kingdom Child Recordings, is executive producer of the Sister Speak Show. My brothers and my sisters, I'm so excited to vibe with you this evening. I hope everything is going well for you so far. Oh yes, we definitely have a wonderful, relaxing, empowering show for you on Coming to the Stage, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to all of my first-time listeners. Welcome back to all of my regular listeners. So for my first-time listeners, I just want to share a little bit about the Sister Speak Show with you and why you are listening to a podcast that you will definitely want to add to your listening shuffle. We are the flavor in your ear, definitely. So the Sister Speak Show, my brothers and sisters, consists of 6 segments. And within those 6 segments, my brothers and sisters, we have special guest interviews, live performances, in-studio interviews, and live on-location reports. The special guests who will be on the Sister Speak Show are dynamic and they are impacting the communities with their passions. The Sister Speak Show is a talk show that will keep your mind and your soul informed, energized, and encouraged. We are a cultural renaissance platform that influences a climate that is conducive to who you are and who you should be. No reckless entertainment, just responsible listening, nourishment. We don't go dumb. We go wisdom on the Sister Speak Show, and it's about making the known known. My brothers and my sisters, I am so excited to vibe out with you this evening. Like I mentioned before, you are listening to Coming to the Stage. I'm so excited about what we have lined up for you, and we will be back right after these 3 commercial breaks. Coming to the stage on the Sister Speak Show at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We've got your listening palette covered. We will be highlighting on this week's episode the poetry of Dominique Christina, Rudy Francisco, Nao Jones, Kai Davis, Honey Sanai, and Steve Willis. Plus, Miss Gail's 5 steps to becoming a slam poet on Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Listening to the Sister Speak Show is even easier now with the new abilities available from Spreaker's Skill on Amazon Alexa. With Spreaker on Alexa, you can now listen to the Sister Speak Show from even more places from all around the world. You also have navigation control, fast forward and rewind podcasts to make sure you never miss a second of your favorite show. And then you can ask for show recommendations like the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Brothers and sisters, we want you to listen live and on demand to the Sister Speak Show. There are 6 segments dedicated to serving you, my brothers and sisters. We have the platform, Coming to the Stage, the culture climate, the laugh line, the tour, and the search effort. Oh, the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Welcome back, my brothers and my sisters, to Coming to the Stage on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary does meet vision, sound, and action, a talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. So my brothers and sisters, on Coming to the Stage, we really try to cover every aspect of poetry. And within poetry, we're talking about poets, poetess, spoken word artists, film directors, playwriters, producers, people who are in, stage play actors, that particular genre. It's very crucial that we definitely highlight that genre because spoken word artists, film directors, actors who are in that realm of entertainment, they really, really are crucial to the renaissance of our culture, if you will. And there are so many dynamic spoken word artists all over the world. And I have the opportunity to highlight them as well as interview them. So I'm very blessed with that. And then you get an opportunity to listen to them. When they come on to the show, we listen to, we get into the vibe, and then we're able to hear some of their pieces and just really just get to understand who they are, their passions, their purpose, why they do what they do. Why do they write? Are you a poet? Are you a writer? Maybe you can relate. So this is a segment that is definitely dedicated to you. I hope your ride home is going smoothly. I hope sitting at home, you're relaxing, because that's what we're here for, my brothers and my sisters. So I'm very excited about, as I mentioned, what we have for you today on the Sister Speak show. So as you heard, we have Dominique Christina, Rudy Francisco, Nao Jones, Kai Davis, Honey Sanaa. I mispronounced her name in the commercial. I apologize. Steve Willis, and Miss Gail's 5 tips to becoming a slam poet. So we're just highlighting these poetic pieces for educational purposes for you to just be able to, just put on your thinking cap and, just really vibe out and get to hear the depth of their thinking and their journey. So without further ado, my brothers and sisters, we will not hesitate. We're going to go ahead and get started with coming to the stage. And so for the first poet that'll be coming to the stage, it will be Dominique Christina. And this is entitled The Period Poem. Let's give her a round of applause. Brothers and sisters, Dominique Christina.
I wrote this poem with a very specific intent. I have a 13-year-old daughter. It is important to me that I throw every part of my experience and whatever wisdom I've gleaned from that, every part of my backbone toward her, to sustain her, to offer her language that lifts her up and keeps her up. That said, there is for me a necessary conversation that seeks to undermine the shaming that happens to some girls around menstruation. I had that experience of starting my period in 7th grade, boys, finding out that I had started my period, and then, it was some shit. I'd be in the class with the frantic, gotta go to the bathroom now, wave, and then you're on your period, aren't you? That dumb shit. And so then my daughter, she starts her period, and she's stricken and walks out the bathroom looking like she's died or something. And I wanted to undermine that. So I threw her a period party. My homies rolled up, dressed in red, and there was red food and red drinks. It was great. It was great. So, all red everything. Fuck it. So that's what it was, and it was wonderful. And then when I was in Austin, Texas for Women of the World this year, she sent me a screenshot of a tweet. And in 140 characters, this dummy, damn near undermined my legacy. This is my response to aforementioned dummy. You're welcome. Dude on Twitter says, quote, I was having sex with my girlfriend when she started her period. I dumped that bitch immediately, end quote. Dear nameless dummy on Twitter, you're the reason. My daughter cried funeral tears when she started her period. The sudden grief all young girls feel after the matriculation from childhood and the induction into a reality that they gonna have to negotiate you and your disdain for what a woman's body can do. Herein begins an anatomy lesson infused with feminist politics because I hate you. There is a thing called a uterus. It sheds itself every 28 days or so, or in my case, every 23 days. I've always been a rule breaker. That's the anatomy part. I digress. The feminist politic part is that women know how to let things go, how to let a dying thing leave the body, how to become new, how to regenerate, how to wax and wane, not unlike the moon and tides, both of which influence how you behave. I digress. Women have vaginas that can speak to each other. By this I mean, when we're with our friends, our sisters, our mothers, our menstrual cycles will actually sync the fuck up. My own cervix is mad influential. Everybody I love knows how to bleed with me. Hold on to that. There's a metaphor in it. Hold on to that. But when your mother carried you, the ocean in her belly is what made you buoyant, made you possible. You had it under your tongue when you burst through her skin, wet and panting from the heat of her body, the body whose machinery you now mock on social media. That body wrapped you in everything that was miraculous about it and sung you lullabies laced in platelets, without which you wouldn't have no Twitter account at all. Motherfucker, I digress. It's possible that we know the world better because of the blood that visits some of us. It interrupts our favorite white skirts and shows up at dinner parties unannounced. Blood will do that, period. It will come when you are not prepared for it. Blood does that, period. Blood is the biggest siren, and we understand that blood misbehaves. It does not wait for a hand signal or a welcome sign above the door. And when you deal in blood over and over again like we do, when it keeps returning to you, well, that makes you a warrior. And while all good generals know not to discuss battle plans with the enemy, let me say this to you, dummy, on Twitter. If there's any balance in the universe at all, you're going to be blessed with daughters. Blessed. Etymologically, blessed means to make bleed. See, now it's a lesson in linguistics. In other words, blood speaks. That's the message. Stay with me. See, your daughter's going to teach you what all men must one day come to know, that women made of moonlight, magic, and macabre will make you know the blood. We're going to get it all over the sheets and car seats. We gonna do that. We gonna introduce you to our insides, period. And if you are as unprepared as we sometimes are, it'll get all over you and leave a forever stain. So to my daughter, should any fool mishandle the wild geography of your body, how it rides a red running current, like any good wolf or witch, well then just bleed, boo. Give that blood a biblical name. Something of stone and mortar. Name it after Eve's first rebellion in that garden. Name it after the last little girl to have her genitals mutilated in Kinshasa. That was this morning. Give it as many syllables as there are unreported rape cases. Name the blood something holy, something mighty, something unlanguageable, something in hieroglyphs, something that sounds like the end of the world. Name it for the roar between your legs and for the women who will not be nameless here. Just bleed anyhow. Spill your impossible scripture all over the good furniture. Bleed and bleed and bleed on everything he loves. Period.
Brothers and sisters, Dominique, Christina. Coming to the stage next, my brothers and sisters, I want you to give a round of applause for Rudy Francisco with Complainers.
Our military heroes' courage.
I apologize for that, brothers and sisters. We're going to get it all queued up. Hold on. Here we go.
Cut the cord and keep all the power.
So we appreciate that poetry from Dominique Christina, my brothers and sisters. I apologize for the pre-intro for Rudy Francisco, but it's getting ready to come up in a minute, my brothers and sisters. That was a strong poem. This is brought to us by Button Poetry. Rudy Francisco, my brothers and sisters, complainers.
So, the following are true stories. May 26, 2003, Aaron Ralston was hiking. A boulder fell on his right hand. He waited 4 days. Then he amputated his own arm with a pocket knife. On New Year's Eve, a woman who was bungee jumping in Zimbabwe, the cord broke. She then fell into a river and had to swim back to land in crocodile-infested waters with a broken collarbone. Claire Champlin was smashed in the face by a 5-pound watermelon being propelled by a slingshot. Matthew Brobus was hit by a javelin. David Striegel was punched in the mouth by a kangaroo. The most amazing part of these stories is when asked about the experience, they all smiled, shrugged, and said, I guess things could have been worse. So go ahead. Tell me that you're having a bad day. Tell me about the traffic. Tell me about your boss. Tell me about the job you've been trying to quit for the past 4 years. Tell me the morning is a townhouse burning to the ground. Tell me the snooze button is a fire extinguisher. Tell me the alarm clock stole the keys to your smile, drove it into 7 a.m. and the crash totaled your happiness. Tell me how blessed are we to have tragedy so small it can fit on the tips of our tongues. You see, when Evan lost his legs, he was speechless. When my cousin was assaulted, she didn't speak for 48 hours. When my uncle was murdered, we had to send out a search party to find my father's voice. Most people have no idea that tragedy and silence have the exact same address. When your day is a museum of disappointments hanging from events that were outside of your control. When you find yourself flailing in an ocean of why is this happening to me? When it feels like your guardian angel put in his 2-week notice 2 months ago and just decided not to tell you. When it feels like God is a babysitter that's always on the phone. When you get punched in the esophagus by a fistful of life. Remember that every year 2 million people die of dehydration. So it doesn't matter if the glass is half full or half empty. There's water in the cup. Drink that shit and stop complaining. You see, Muscle is created by repeatedly lifting things that have been designed to weigh us down. So when your shoulders feel heavy, stand up straight, lift your chin. Hell, call it exercise. Remember that life is a gym membership with a really complicated cancellation policy. Remember that you will survive. Remember, things could be worse. Remember, we are never, ever given anything that we can't handle. When the world crumbles around you, you have to look at the wreckage and then build a new one out of all the pieces that are still here. Remember, you are still here. The human heart beats approximately 4,000 times per hour, and each pulse, each throb, each palpitation is a trophy engraved with the words, you are still alive. You are still alive. Act like it.
Yes. Brothers and sisters, Rudy Francisco. Next up, brothers and sisters, this sister who is coming to the stage, her name is Nio Jones, and this is Healing, and is brought to you by Slam Find.
It was ironic how much love I gave out, because I didn't give much to myself. She laughed, like self-love was a sick joke. I chuckled, then cried at home. I had someone tell me once I could not love anyone else until I learned to love myself. This time I got to laugh. This time the sick joke was mine. It was me. Might as well wait forever. I remember hating myself at the age of 7. Journals filled to the brim with criticisms by 8. I had enough pages to stitch them into wings, to fly close enough to the sun to see my tears turn to steam, felt the wax burn on my shoulders and mold into thick skin. I was 9 when I wanted to die. 13 when I found a solution, figured if I could cut my legs enough, gravity would let me go. When it didn't, I tied a pillowcase around my neck, twisting like the rope swings I knew so well from childhood. Heard my heartbeat pound in my ears like a warning drum, then fade. I'd almost convinced myself I'd done it. When I started writing, I smeared my blood on every page to remind myself that everything beautiful has a consequence. I'd hoped to stall the clotting long enough to give myself to the craft and let myself go. I have died so many times. So when I told you that loving you almost makes life worth it, I was not joking. When I tell you that loving you almost makes me forget how much I hate myself, it is not poetry. Loving you is taking all the love I could never give myself and putting it to good use. It is reminding myself that if someone can love a dying thing this way, can hold the Lazarus of my body and give thanks for the way it holds back, if someone can kiss the scars, administer the pills, absorb the bad days, and wake up smiling next to me, then I can try to breathe again. Because self-love does not always come first, or second, or even ever. But your love be the guardrail on the ledge, be the drawers that hide all of the sharp things, be the body that carries my collapsed frame into bed, be the flowers you bought. Because even though they are dying too, they still dance. Love will not heal me, will not wipe my slate of a body clean. I will always be a woman of wounds, of rope-marked neck and melted skin. Love will not heal me, but it will hold my hand if I ever heal myself, and maybe teach me a joke that I can stay alive long enough to laugh at. I love you enough to want to love myself too.
Brothers and sisters, Niall Jones. Coming to the stage, my brothers and sisters, we have we have Kai Davis. Let's give her a round of applause.
The grapevine that you don't like fuck niggas, Mr. Keefe. I heard that you don't like sneak disses. I also heard that you don't like stalking ass bitches. And I could go on and on and on about all the things that you don't like. But Senior Keefe, what do you like? I can imagine you like the finer things. I can tell by your music videos. You got Gucci belts, Fendi belts, Louis belts, a lot of belts, not a lot of shirts. Why don't you like shirts, Dr. Keefe? I'm 300% sure you can afford them. You got bands, boy, in there in your pants, boy. You got Raris and Rovers, and apparently these hoes love Chief Sosa, but how can you even enjoy the tender flesh of a young maiden when you can't even brush against her without your ashy nipples igniting a fire in her baby hairs? What do you like, Sergeant Keefe? Do you like the sensation of a breeze coursing its way through your baby dreads? Do you like the gentle chafing of house arrest bracelets? Do you like the feel? Do you like the feel of a dozen half-naked men bumping into you, shouting "oh blah" like a sweet serenade? Grunting and fingering AKs in your grandma's basement? I mean, who wouldn't like that? Do you like the feel of your lips cracking against the brutality of the Chicago wind? Because it looks like you do. I mean, by your lyrics, I can tell that you don't like consonants. Oh, I don't know. And so you must like vowels, right? Right? Father Keefe! Why must there be so much negativity in your life? Too many negations and not enough affirmations. Hugging the block but never hugging your parents. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? You're bottling up your emotions along with that codeine and Sprite. You're cutting and bagging your feelings like that yayo, and your face is probably just ashy from a lack of tears. Let those tears fall, Papa Keefe. Let those tears inundate your grandma's basement. Wash away those indictments, those Gucci belts, those thirsty thotties, and cry, Rabbi Keefe. Cry until you cannot cry anymore. And when you are through, put your hand to your chest and feel your heartbeat. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. And let everything that you don't like go. And if you don't do that, well, That's that shit I don't like.
Kai Davis, Dear Chief Keef. Brothers and sisters, coming up next, we have Honey Sana, and this is For Telling the Truth, Even When It Hurts Me. Let's give her a round of applause.
Even when it hurts me. My student called me a fat bitch today because I gave him detention. When he stage whispers the insult into his tucked chin, I feel it crawl its way down my throat, feel it churn in my stomach, want to vomit it out like I did last night's dinner. When his classmates laugh and give him a high five, the little girl across the room who still carries her baby weight like a security blanket flinches. She buries her head further into the doodle she's been scribbling on a page, and I hear her silently pray to disappear. A prayer that I've prayed so many times before myself, like last Sunday, during the weekly phone call from my mother. Her greeting doesn't ask me how I've been or even what state I'm currently in. Instead, she asks, "So how much weight have you lost?" As if I wasn't insecure enough about where I stand in her affections, being the 7th of her 10 children. Now I know my only value to her will be in the number of compliments she will get about me from her church friends. I didn't eat anything for the rest of the day. As her shame worked its way through my digestive system, I recognized its aftertaste. It's the same taste I remember from the time my ex-fiance dropped my hand when a buddy of his made a comment about my size just loud enough for us to overhear. It's the same taste I remember when he said he forgot something at home, dropped me off at our front door, and never bothered to come in to get what he forgot. The shame tastes like binging on Fritos and cheese dip until I vomit, so I associate the two tastes and never want to taste them again. It tastes like 2 a.m. Hugging the toilet to rid my body of the peppermint I ate because its sugar content was too high. It tastes like failure, like when I check the scale at the gym and see the spinning numbers keep rising, or feel winded at the gym just from climbing up the steps to get in the front door. It's never going back to the gym because I hate the sound of my own heavy breathing. It feels like killing myself slowly because this body is too heavy to do anything quickly these days. It's the anxiety I feel at getting on a plane because I'm afraid I'll be asked to buy 2 seats I can't afford. And I want to yell at this kid for reminding me of all the fear that nests in these bones, but I don't. Instead, I send him to the office for the curse word, ask the teacher next door to listen out for my kids as they work, and make a beeline for the bathroom. If I hurry, I can still get out the salad I ate for lunch before my body fully digests.
Wow. Brothers and sisters, Honey Sana, for telling the truth even when it hurts me. Brothers and sisters, up next, coming to the stage, our final act for the evening, highlighting some of the dopest spoken word artists in the United States. Obviously, we have been blessed so far to hear some strong poetry, some expressive spoken word that, you know, sometimes you have to know when not to have when something has been said that's so powerful, there's no need to add commentary. So I'm just going to continue to introduce you to our last spoken word artist that we are highlighting this evening. So far, we have highlighted Dominique Christina, Rudy Francisco, Nio Jones, Kai Davis, Honey Sana, and finally, my brothers and sisters, but definitely not least, Steve Willis, How the Hood Loves You Back. Let's give a round of applause for Steve Willis.
I'm not saying that I agree with what they did. Just saying I've learned not to judge a people for how they grieve. Learn not to judge the hood for how it loves you back. Love from the hood. And honor only bestowed on those who showed the hood the most unwavering of loyalties. I'm talking street niggas. Most literally from cradle to grave. Most literally from corner to coroner. Most literally niggas who hug the block in their last moments gasping for air. Right before yellow tapes makes a spectacle of their bodies sprawled on cement. If the hood loves you, she'll make a monument of this location. They will bring teddy bears, well wishes, and heavy hearts. This is now sacred ground, to be renamed as memorial and landmark. This is no longer Jefferson Avenue, but where Twig got shot. For the next 6 nights, you will see candles like this space holy. Until the wind blows it silent. Until the amber is blown in the direction of the summit's next casualty. If the hood loves you, she'll write it in tombstone text. A boy's face and childhood nickname will be written in script across a double XL white tee. Ain't it funny how quickly death becomes fashionable? A testament to how tragic memories don't fade. Even in a washing machine, you can expect your closest of kin to tattoo your name in the most visible of places. Your birthday in Roman numeral will kiss the left side of your little sister's collarbone long before a boy ever does in grief. We graffiti murals. That's how Biggie and Pac got faces in places that they never called home. I know boys who've bore the weight of pallbearer long before the rigors of college, but the most famous of us will have streets named in our honor. Martin Luther King Drive and Malcolm X Boulevard both debunk the myth of respectability and proves that no matter the politics, all black boys are doomed to die by bullets. But how can you complain when the hood loves you? And we gonna keep loving you long after the gravel has swallowed your portion of the 40. Long after they've packed that car with vengeance. Long after another boy's life is taken in retaliation of yours. Continuing the cycle of trauma and street violence. Yes, y'all. The hood will love you enough to murder for you, but never enough to snitch. Yes, y'all. I know who did it. I was there when they bought the 4/5. Yes, y'all. I watched the news. I listened as they emptied the clip. And yes, y'all. I'll do it again. Yes, y'all. I'll do it again. Damn motherfucking right. I will do it again because I miss my brother so much. But that don't mean that I agree with what they did. That just means I've learned not to judge a people for how they grieve. Learn not to judge the hood for how it loves you back.
Brothers and sisters, let's give a round of applause for Steve Willis, How the Hood Loves You Back. I would like to cite my sources so you all will know exactly, obviously this is for educational purposes, but I'd like to cite my sources of where I was able to find these particular pieces. We have button poetry. We also have, let me make sure I say it right. We have slam find. We also have, slam find and deaf poetry. So I just like to extend my gratitude for the talents of these spoken word artists and how they have contributed to poetry and have provided an outlet and a release and a support group, if you will, for those who are in the audience to be able to listen to the truth, their truths, their journeys, and be able to really relate. It's such a beautiful thing to hear the power of speech. Brothers and sisters, the last agenda for the evening will be, as I stated, Miss Gale's 5 steps in how to become a slam poet. And this is brought to us by Ted Ed, and it'll be brought to us right after, here we go, after this commercial break. Here we get ready to go. Here we go.
Slam poetry. A lesson of transformation. Step 1. Write it all down. Take one memory. Explore it like a new land. The visiting poet tells the class. Don't leave anything out. Tyler sits in this high school workshop, dizzy with where to start. Memories wander in and out of his heart like vagrants searching for home. He bends to his desk. He writes,
"The snow goes black when the moon turns its eyes away. All paper is yellow. All letters spell eviction note. Mama's lies are footsteps too many to count. Making excuses on black snow. I paid the rent. This is your room forever, baby. I love you." But she wouldn't even look at me.
Step 2. Read out loud. As he writes, his lips try on words, then toss them out like bad tenants. He pushes his desk back, stands.
Aunt Jocelyn's rice pudding was sweet, but that's not what I want to write. Have you ever been so cold your hair becomes an icicle? Your little sister's fear of the dark freezes on her lips like she's kissed the ice tray. How hungry have you been?
Step 3. Cut the fat. Abandon extra words. His pen becomes a machete, slashing ands, thens, becauses. Step 4. Read out loud. Again. The 11th grade boy makes sure Step 3's cuts weren't too deep. Step 5. Add flavor. Juice, power, movement, emotion.
Vanilla flavoring is the secret to my aunt's pudding. I kick out a few raisins, but leave one or two. Life needs some bitter to man up the sweet.
His hands reach out like shelves to hold our disbelief. Is this Tyler speaking? The one who keeps his eyes on the floor like they're carrying something heavy? Voice rattles windows.
I am free now.
Body quivers with the pulse of each word.
The sun's joy melts snow.
Fingers trace the curve of his jaw.
My aunt's face was warm as a water heater when she let us in that night.
Our boy is done. His transformation complete. Step 1, write it all down. Step 2, read out loud. Step 3, cut the fat. Step 4, read out loud. Step 5, add flavor. Tyler's first poem takes residence in his heart. He flings his arms wide like an open door. Welcome home.
Brothers and sisters, that was Miss Gail's 5 steps to writing or actually becoming a slam poet. I'm so excited that you all got a chance to vibe out just for a little bit and hear some, very, like I said, very, very deep poetry. I think poetry is a healing agent for several millions of people because writing really does heal. Writing allows you to go into a realm that you otherwise may not feel comfortable going into. Writing a letter for healing. Writing a letter to get out your aggression. I encourage you, if you write poetry, if you know you have the gift of speech, I encourage you to launch out on that gift. Please check into your local venues that host poetry slams and open mic nights. Please, if you have the gift, share it with the village. Write that poetry book. Record those poems. Please, I'd love to highlight you on coming to the stage. I have had the opportunity to interview the dopest special guests who are poets, poetess, spoken word artists, and that's just not all they do. I mean, extremely multi-talented, extremely kind, extremely wise, and just extremely dope. So excited about that. So listen, my brothers and my sisters, if you are a poet, spoken word artist, and you would like to be a special guest on coming to the stage, we'd love to have you. All you have to do is direct message me at SGTPGW on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. Also, my brothers and sisters, don't forget to listen tomorrow night to The Search Effort. I'm really excited about that particular segment. It is going all the way up. It's been a chill day. I'm chilling with you. I'm vibing with you. So shout out once again, my brothers and sisters, to Dominique Christina, Rudy Francisco, Niall Jones, Kai Davis, Honey Sanaa, and Steve Willis. And thank you, Miss Gail, for your 5 steps on how to become a slam poet. I love my brothers and sisters because they're absolutely dope. And the Sister Speak Show is about making the known, highlighting raising awareness, encouraging, correcting, rebuking, and just absolutely launching brands. That's what it's about. So I need you to tune in, like I said, tomorrow night to the Search Effort, Thursday to the Culture Climate, Friday to the Laugh Line, and then Saturday, it's going all the way up with the tour, my brothers and sisters, where my special guest will be Brand Lives out of Houston. Dope artist, R&B artist. We're going to really vibe out. Neo soul almost, if you will. I mean, when you hear his voice, you're like, oh my goodness, this brother's absolutely dope. So anyway, my brothers and sisters, with that being said, thank you for listening to the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayanna. Don't forget, you can catch Coming to the Stage, the platform, the Search Effort, the Culture Climate, the Laugh Line, and the tour. On those segments, we provide you with special guest interviews, live performances, in-studio interviews, and live on location reports. The special guests who will be on the Sister Speak Show are dynamic and impacting the communities with their passions. The Sister Speak Show is a talk show that will keep your mind and your soul informed, energized, and encouraged. We are a cultural renaissance platform that influences a climate that is conducive to who you are and who you should be. No reckless entertainment, just responsible listening nourishment. We don't go dumb. We go wisdom on the Sister Speak Show. My brothers and sisters, you be blessed. You be encouraged. Don't forget that May is May Music, Independent Music Artist Month, where we will be highlighting 24 of the dopest independent artists in the United States. And hopefully even internationally. You never know. But we'll go ahead and stay tuned for that. You all continue to be encouraged. Continue to press through. Please listen to last night's episode of the platform. It was all the way lit. All the way lit. And if you need encouragement, if you need something to light your fire and get you motivated to activate your passions, please listen to the latest episode of the platform. You be blessed. This is Ayanna. I'm signing off. I'll sign on with you tomorrow if it's the Lord's will. Take care.